In this edition of It's About Money, we'll be talking about how to buy an engagement ring. Our guest is Rick Kapeliski from Mann's Jewelers in Pittsford here in Rochester, New York. Stay tuned. Welcome to another edition of It's About Money. I'm Nanette Nokan, and thank you for joining us. Today we have a fun show for you. We'll be talking about engagement rings. And our guest, Rick from Mann's Jewelers, has brought us some rings to show us this today. And we'll be asking him a lot of questions about buying engagement rings and diamonds and so on. So thank you for being here, Rick.
Well, thank you for having us here. Actually, we're very, very pleased to be here.
Great. Now, there's this old adage of 2 to 3 months of income for a diamond ring. What is the deal these days?
Right. I know very often we will get gentlemen that do come in if they're shopping solo, and that's one of the questions that they have is, what am I expected to, or what should I be spending for a diamond? And for many years, there really was no guideline, and the Diamond Promotion Service actually came out with a 2-month salary guideline as again, a rule of measure. Now, of course, every individual, that's going to be different. For some, it might be actually a little more than they're thinking. For some, it might not be enough. So it's really just what you're comfortable actually in spending.
I see. Now, when you said for gentlemen shopping alone, is that how does that fare compared to couples shopping for the ring together?
Well, usually it's interesting. Usually the couples will very often come through and just kind of in the early stages, she will kind of set the groundwork, pointing out some of the styles or the designs that she likes, and hopefully, you know, with him listening, paying attention, as we hope that the gentlemen are, makes it easier when they do return, and you know, when they are planning that surprise, the surprise presentation.
Mm-hmm. That's neat. So it's a mix then.
It is a mix, absolutely, absolutely. Okay. So the one time though is I always will tell. Again, I'm sure they're very nervous when they come in, is the one purchase where it's there's a lot of sentiment, and trust your own instincts, and don't be fearful of sometimes going with what you feel is the perfect ring, the perfect choice.
Right. So it's nice that when women have a say to it too, because they will be wearing the ring after all.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's, and he will be actually looking at the ring just as much as she will. So yeah, it's something that you would hope that both are going to be very, very thrilled with. Now,
when selecting an engagement ring, most people choose diamonds, and there's the 4 C's of selecting diamonds. Can you talk to us?
Exactly. The 4 C's, which really is the easiest way to remember what exactly you're looking for when you're shopping for a diamond. And these are just actually points for you to, as you shop around, to determine the value that you're receiving, actual value in that purchase, and that you're paying a price that is an appropriate price for that quality. So the easiest way, the 4 C's, you have your clarity, which is the purity of the diamond, which in our industry is the diamond is graded under a 10 power of magnification. And there are different levels of the purity of the gemstone, the absence or the presence of inclusions. Now you have to remember that diamond is a natural item, crystal item, and Mother Nature is not perfect herself, but there's varying degrees of imperfections or inclusions, and to what degree those inclusions fall determines on a scale the clarity, what we call the clarity color, the clarity grade. The most recognized language, so to speak, in our industry is the GIA grading system, which will explain or show you actually on a chart the purity or the clarity of a stone being what we term flawless under 10 power, where there are no inclusions visible to the eye under magnification, all the way down to inclusions that are very easily seen to the naked eye, which of course typically we would want to avoid. But there's a number of different ranges on that clarity scale for clarity grades. And again, all diamonds, it's so funny because I think all too often we think of if a diamond has an inclusion, it's not a beautiful diamond. It's definitely not true, and that's why you need to look at every possible clarity grade, determine what is something something that you're comfortable with. Not everyone naturally is prepared to buy a flawless diamond, but yet you want something that's beautiful, that to the naked eye is bright and brilliant. And there are many other grades actually that you can choose from. The second C actually is the color grade, which is the presence or absence of body color. Now by color, what we're referring to is just that, not the spectral colors or the dispersion that all diamonds possess, but the actual purity of the diamond beyond the dispersion. Very much like, I guess a simple analogy that I will use is taking a tumbler of water, putting a few drops of food coloring, yellow food coloring in one. Now you've actually created a body color to that tumbler of water. Shine a bright light through them, and both glasses, the one with the coloring, the one without, will still set off a rainbow effect, which is your dispersion. So that, not to be confused with body color. Very common to find diamonds that do have a little bit of an off color. When you do find that they don't, actually, it's very rare, and of course is going to affect the pricing, the element of pricing with the diamond.
So you want it to have better dispersion? Is that what
better color, actually, because
okay.
your eye is the first thing that your eye is going to pick up on is just that, is the lack of color, ideally. The lack of color,
okay.
Basically.
All right.
Yeah.
So there's clarity, and then there's color.
There's color. Then you have your carat weight, which is an important element in pricing. The larger the diamond becomes, the more rare that diamond becomes, and the more costly per weight. A lot of times people will look at maybe a half-carat diamond and expect the 1-carat diamond to just be twice the price because of the size. The thing that we have to remember is, again, the larger diamond crystal, being much more rare naturally, is going to be a more costly gemstone, so more than a double pricing based on the element of rarity.
Got it.
Yeah, the larger the size becomes, again, that pricing actually changes drastically.
Got it. No, diamonds are extremely hard, and so when they come in natural form before they're shaped or ground,
fashioned or polished, okay? Exactly.
Polished. So then it's rare that a diamond would break a big. I mean, probably never happened.
It's it's interesting because I think diamonds are misunderstood from that standpoint. It's not impossible to break or chip a diamond with a hard enough impact. You have to remember the diamond is a crystalline matter, so there is actually a growth pattern to the gem.
Okay.
But with regular wear, I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to be, very super careful with it and, not do anything with your ring on, but just to protect it if you are going to be doing any sort of hard work, anything that would be shock or impact to the ring. Diamond or any gemstone for that matter, you should naturally remove your jewelry to protect it from damage.
I see. Okay. So we have clarity, color, and carat.
Right.
And carat is always bigger the carat. The bigger the size, the bigger the carat.
The larger, yes,
okay.
exactly. And to most women that's what they want, the bigger the carat. The other factor, the fourth C, is the cut of the gemstone. Not only the shape of the diamond, which of course you have your rounds, your princess cut being very popular, fancy cut, ovals and so on, but the cut actually relates to, more specifically, the attention to detail, or how precise that diamond cutter was at fashioning that diamond. And something that's very important, again, to bring out the best inherent beauty in that crystal, in that rough crystal that diamond cutter starts with.
So that's interesting then. So the technique and the skill of a cutter plays a huge role.
Exactly. It can have such a great influence on the pricing also. So again, it's the taking all of those four C's, the factors, which again is not very confusing. I mean, it's something that a jeweler is and should be able to to show to you, explain to you, and present to you, especially with the clarity. We are advocates of scoping. Use the gem scope, look at the diamond, get to know the diamond, because it's interesting as you're shopping around. It's interesting the things that you will see out there grade-wise. that are called one thing quality-wise, and yet, from store to store, it's interesting. You'll see a difference in stringency in the grading system.
I see. So from store to store, there is a difference there.
It's interesting, yeah, and I think depending, not even store to store, but even from laboratory to laboratory, and now especially with people doing so much more research with diamonds, is they're aware of the different gem laboratories that are out there that are available to the jewelers and to the public. We are and have always been advocates of the GIA grading system and the stringency in use of their grading system. There are, unfortunately, and it does create confusion, but there are some laboratories that tend to be a little more lenient with their grading, with diamond grading being as judgmental and as it is. Unfortunately, there's not one piece of equipment that we can lay a diamond onto, push a button, and get a definitive reading. But because diamond grading is so subjective, you will see such a variance between laboratories that it is important to, as you're shopping for a diamond, if it does come with a lab certificate, find out who the laboratory is and become familiar with, again, like I say, their leniency or their stringency in their grading.
Do lab certificates come with most diamonds, or just on the bigger pieces?
Actually, more and more you're noticing that a lot of diamonds do have them. That does not mean that a non-certified stone, as we refer to it in our business, is a diamond that you want to avoid. But I think when you're familiar with the laboratory certificates, especially the GIA system, when you're able to see a diamond that is graded by those standards, it helps actually in selecting the non-certified stone. Now, what's the advantage to a non-certified stone? Sometimes is they do represent, again, a very good value, extra value in that diamond. Any diamond that's non-certified can be certified. It's just a process whereby a loose diamond is sent to the laboratory and does have to be graded, and is usually out of our inventory for about a 3-week time span, which a lot of the times, we like to stock. We love to maintain a very good level of diamonds. We do, one thing that I do mention is we do have on our premises there's 3 graduate gemologists, but we have an appraiser that is a graduate gemologist of GIA that will provide that information on an appraisal or quality analysis of that diamond.
I see. And what does GIA stand for?
Is the Gemological Institute of America.
Okay, so it's a standard.
It's the standard in the industry. It's an educational institute, and actually it's interesting because they developed the grading system that so many people are familiar with and that we use, which is actually a language in our business. But they are the originators of that system of color being from D, absolute colorless, and working its way down to Z, which is again a very off-colored yellow, and again the clarity grades that we're familiar with.
I see. Okay. Now, what about loose diamonds? You brought some loose.
Yes, we did bring some loose stones along, also because one of the questions, actually, much of the people do inquire about is, should I buy something? Do I need to pick something that's completely ready to go, so to speak, or assembled from the showcase, versus buying loose? Is there an advantage to either or? The rings, when they're assembled, naturally makes it easy because you're able to see the finished product. Versus when you're working with an empty mounting or a loose setting. Some people they're very comfortable with the selection of a loose stone and assembling the ring. Some people feel that it's actually they've become part of the design factor in the ring, and it's a lot of fun actually to work with. There's an array of different mountings, different style of mountings that are out there, and some of the guys that actually it's this kind of extra level of proudness that they helped create her engagement ring.
Sure, they were part of it. That's right. So they're really, from a financial perspective, is there an advantage, or is it more of a style? I mean, your preference?
It's actually purchasing loose. I know that a lot of times people will say, well, could there be a feature or an inclusion that's maybe hidden under a prong? That's the important thing with a mounted gem, is with the certification, is again, the clarity, the color, with all the details being on the appraisal is your assurance from that company in writing that you are not being sold something. There's nothing that's being hidden or nothing that's being camouflaged or being covered by that mounting.
Would you be able to see that through a scope then?
Typically you can, and even when in a mounted gemstone, as much as one might be concerned, is you're able to actually, under the gem scope, turn and angle the diamond where you still can, even in a prong area, that you're still able to view inside that diamond and still appreciate that the purity or the clarity.
Sure. I'm so glad you're here talking about this because it's one of the big purchases that people make. I mean, a couple months' salary is quite substantial. Absolutely. Now let's talk about the diamonds you've brought here. They're so beautiful. This one is of yellow color.
This is an interesting, as I'd mentioned when we were talking about the topic of color grading. It's so funny because we've all learned that, you don't want color in a diamond, you want colorlessness. And this is actually what we brought here is an intense, fancy yellow diamond, which, contrary to what we've always heard and thought was correct, when color is very prominent, it is actually very favorable and does command premiums because of the element of rarity. Here we brought, like I say, a yellow diamond.
It's beautiful.
Diamonds, it is. It's very unique, very interesting, and actually something that you're actually seeing a lot of, especially if one's flipping through the magazines. You're noticing a lot of the movie stars and famous individuals that are actually wearing colored gemstones, colored diamonds specifically. But the diamonds do come in an array of different colors, and it just makes it, again, gives it more of a little bit of a unique factor for diamonds.
Now, this looks like a more typical engagement ring.
Exactly. What we brought here is just that. It's a classic Tiffany style mounting. It puts more focus, as some people feel, on the diamond only. As one is shopping for a diamond, sometimes they feel that they want to put most of the dollar into the center diamond, and even keeping in mind that a diamond can be remounted or reset into a different setting at any time during its life naturally. So
I didn't even think of that.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you didn't want gold anymore and want platinum or something like that, you could change. Okay.
Exactly.
And then now here we've got some sapphires?
We brought along a couple sapphires, which, interestingly enough, traditionally, many years back before diamonds were really had become the engagement stone, or promoted as the engagement diamond in our industry, sapphires are traditionally a gem that were used actually as an engagement stone many years ago. It's not unheard of. Rubies, another gemstone actually that historically was used as an engagement stone also. They're durable, as is the diamond, and not quite the high level of diamonds, but pretty darn close. So for wear and tear on a daily basis, actually they're a good choice for those that prefer something other than a diamond. I
see. But then in terms of pricing, it doesn't necessarily mean it's less expensive, because you could put in a lot of other diamonds with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. That, and actually even the gemstone itself, depending on the quality of the ruby or the sapphire, it's interesting where you can actually find stones that can equal or even surpass some of the diamonds that are out there.
Okay, all right. So you can't judge the book by its cover.
Exactly,
You've got to check it all out.
It's
and then
true.
the other pieces you brought, and that one there.
We brought one here actually. This is interesting, and it's something that I know the girls are seeing quite a bit from a number of designers, but is the micro set mounting, which is just a very simplified style setting, adding some diamonds around the center and down the sides in this case here, and it really just creates a beautiful frame or a beautiful setting for, again, that perfect center stone that someone might select.
So that has diamonds all throughout the ring.
This has, yep, absolutely. Actually going, this one in
Wow.
particular is completely around the ring.
Yeah, I'd be nervous about banging it and hurting the diamond. But
which is actually, that's a good concern, and where you would now start talking about maybe the material of the mounting that's used. Platinum, as you'd mentioned, white gold and platinum is very popular with the ladies today. Platinum being a very long wearing metal is a good choice for one that is considering diamonds all the way around, whether it be the engagement ring or when it comes time for the wedding band, the eternity band will fare, again, the everyday wear and tear, the element of wear and tear quite well.
I see. And the final one, the final ring you brought?
Up here, actually, we brought a 3-stone, which people are probably so aware of the past, present, and future theme. A lot of the girls actually love the look and are thrilled to see that there are engagement styles that do follow. Again, the 3-stone theme. This particular one you can see actually has, again, diamonds on the side and has a little bit of like beading work and lattice work.
My goodness.
Yeah, which actually gives it such a pretty look.
So that the 3 stone is past, present, future. I never knew that.
The past, present, future theme.
Past, present, future. Okay. And I forgot about that ring in the bottom. That looks magnificent as well.
And this one down here is actually just a little bit of a little more of a classic look, I should say, with the baguette diamonds, a single baguette on each side of the center diamond. And this particular designer, what they did is a very pretty touch is, and you're going to probably see more of it, is the little diamonds that actually follow the prongs on the inside. So literally you see diamonds from every angle as that ring is being worn.
Now, when I look at this display here, if I were to guess in my untrained eye, I'm going to guess that that's probably the most expensive ring here. And probably this one's the most affordable.
Actually, it's I would say pretty. It is, and it's a good point because, as we mentioned, when people are shopping for diamonds, and I know all too often we're kind of focused on what we've read from the clarity color standpoint, is really look at everything. Kind of be open to some different qualities. Don't be afraid to ask to view that diamond under the gem scope. It's amazing how many times I've had people that would come in and really have no desire to look at a particular clarity, and somehow, some way, as we're looking, look at that diamond and say, geez, I never realized how minuscule that inclusion or that feature is, and how many times actually they've been very happy with a quality that they think they never would have been interested in.
Right. That's great. Well, this has been fascinating. We're going to take a short break. We're talking about buying an engagement ring, and our guest is Rick Kapileski from Men's Jewelers. We'll be right back.
If you have any questions, please email Nanette at nnocon@aol.com.
Welcome back. I'm Nanette Nocon, and we're talking about buying an engagement ring. Our guest is Rick Kapileski from Men's Jewelers in Pittsford in Rochester. Thank you Thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to see all these diamonds and the information you've shared has been fantastic.
Well, thank you. Like I mentioned, it's a pleasure to be here and share in what we do every day. So
let's say the couple or the gentleman has purchased the ring, and what should be done to protect the ring? I mean, in a number of ways. I'm asking, I guess, from the perspective of losing the ring or damaging the ring.
Absolutely, and that's actually that's a very good question. Is in the business of jewelry, of course, insurance is something that we are very aware of, both professionally and from a personal standpoint with the customer. Something that they really should be concerned with, because even with a product that is very well made, structurally sound, and of course there's warranties that do come with that product, but there's sometimes that unforeseen, the accidental prong that maybe we hit the ring, we bang it, don't realize it, and maybe a prong becomes is pulled away or broken off of the ring, and the gemstone now is lost. That's something that naturally you would and should be concerned with. anyone's homeowner's insurance companies does and will provide insurance coverage, provide a rider on personal items such as jewelry. There are also other companies out there in our industry. You do have the Jewelers Mutual, who is a wonderful company to deal with, and a company that that we very often do suggest as providers of insurance coverage on their engagement rings. Things do happen in the event, again, of a ring being stolen. Or being lost naturally. It's something that is a good thing to have. Again, insurance, we always look at it as, well, it's premiums I'm paying and I really don't see anything for it, but I'll tell you, when you do have that situation, an unfortunate situation, it's something that you're always happy in the end that you did have the insurance to actually replace that article.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's probably smart depending on the amount of money you've spent for the ring.
Exactly, and it's amazing because, and again, every company is going to be different. Last I think I knew it was like $10 to $12 per $1,000 approximately. Again, check with your insurance companies, but it's amazing how little you really have to spend just to give you that peace of mind.
Mm-hmm. Sure, absolutely. Now, what about I went home or give the ring to my fiance and doesn't like the ring. What do we do?
Okay, I was going to say, I actually turned down the proposal, which we hope isn't the case.
Yes.
But, and then that is something, actually, that's a good question there. Although it's very rare, it does happen. That's something that really one should, ahead of time, ask the jeweler what their policy is with regards to that. Can I return it? Are there going to be fees or penalties naturally imposed on me? Most jewelers, will have some sort of a return policy without penalties. We're ones that we know sometimes on a rare occasion that happens, no problem. We're not happy until we know that she's accepted the ring and accepted the proposal. Mm-hmm. In regards to what if she doesn't like it, but yes, she does like me and she does want to marry me, is very often, again, and we are ones that, and I would hope that there are jewelers that naturally will work with a couple that can work with them in regards to maybe a specific style, whether it be setting that diamond that was presented, or if that diamond's just not right, being able to exchange that ring for something that she's going to be thrilled to wear for the rest of her life.
So in the process, it's really important to work with a jeweler that has a policy that's suitable for your needs.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't ask that up front, and then you're surprised about, the woman doesn't like the ring,
right.
Well, I'm stuck with the ring.
Right, I had this created, I put this diamond in this mounting, and what am I going to do with that? And that shouldn't be the case.
Right,
that
yes. So the relationship is very important, store policy, important to know about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And then I want to try one of your rings now.
Please do.
Please do. Let's see. Which one do I want to try? Are there rings that are suitable for more personalities more than others?
Do you know what's so funny? Because I think sometimes it's interesting. Colored gemstones kind of do take on particular personality. Mm-hmm. You strike me as a sapphire person.
Yeah, actually. Wow, look at that. That's beautiful. That's very nice.
Stunning. And again, the 3-stone theme, very, very pretty.
Now, is this white gold or is this platinum?
This one actually is in the platinum, this particular mounting.
I see. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That's great. Well, again, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
And thank you, our guests, for joining us today. I'm Nanette Noken. We're talking about how to buy an engagement ring, and our guest was Rick Kapaleski from Men's Jewelers. Thank you, and until next time, it's about money. I'm Nanette Noken.
Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, please email Nanette at nnocon@aol.com. Following production was produced through Penfield Community Television in Penfield, New York.